Good morning. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Greater Hartford. And it is wonderful to see you in the sanctuary here. We know that many others will be coming in, and we also know that many others are watching on our Facebook page and also on our website. So welcome to all of you this morning. So I have just a few announcements that I want to make before we do our opening prayer. And one is, if you were here the other week, you might have heard the wonderful news that there is a big chance, there is a very strong possibility, almost done deed, that our mortgage will be paid off by the end of the year, 2022. And some congregants have come together, and they've decided that the $98,000 we owe is no big deal. I love that. I'm ready to embrace that. And so they are going to pay the bulk of it. But they may not be able to cover all of it. All right. So what we have offered for you is to play a part in that. When we have our, I don't know, do you call it burning the deed or something? Burning the mortgage papers, something. When we have a celebration. Okay, I know you're going to want to be a part of it. So although certainly all throughout the year as you've been giving, you have been a part of it, but I'm asking you to be a conscious part of it, to really bring that intention, to bring consciousness to it. And so there is a box in the atrium on the table, and it says, "Pay off the mortgage now." Okay, and we're asking you to put in your loose change, your dollar bills, not to take away what you're doing on Sunday, because we still have to pay the electric, okay? But to put in that extra that you have, okay? And if something wonderful happens, like we have more money, okay, than that to pay off the mortgage, then that will go into a special building fund, so that as things need to be repaired or updated or fixed, we have that money there. So I hope that you will join us in this wonderful adventure of paying off the mortgage in a week, right? We have a week. We're just about there. So please join us in that. I think it'll be fabulous. Now, this past Wednesday, we had our Blue Christmas or Remembrance service. And between those in the sanctuary, it was live from 6:30 to 7:30. And then it was on Facebook from 7 to 7:30. So altogether, we had about 20 people there. And it was really a beautiful, heartfelt and heart-healing time for everyone. And I especially want to thank Deborah Giddings for really, you put it together. I just hung out there, but you put it together. So thank you so much for doing that. It was wonderful. Now, for those of you in the sanctuary today, our greeters handed out a bulletin along with words to our songs, those 2 pieces of paper. And I'm going to ask you that when you leave the sanctuary, you take those papers with you. You'll see a big basket in between the 2 chairs in the atrium. Just put them there, and that way they will be recycled. And so thank you for helping us do that. And of course, if you're watching online, you can get the bulletin by going to our website, unityhartford.org, and scroll down on the home page, and over on your right, it'll say, here's the link for the bulletin. So just click that, and you'll know exactly what's going to be happening today. So let's look at that bulletin right now, and you'll find a welcome affirmation. Let's say that together, right? Together. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity, of course, we welcome, value, and include all people. So again, welcome to all of you in the sanctuary this morning, as well as those people who are watching us on our website, and of course, those on Facebook. And you who are on Facebook, you have a special obligation. You have to send up all those emojis, okay? So when I go in, I'm thoroughly entertained by you. So let yourself be known. Say good morning to everybody. Let people know that you're there and welcome other people. You have the opportunity to talk throughout the service without me being upset at all. So take advantage of it. And so as we prepare for our opening prayer, let's take a moment to light our new Christ candle. And Kirk's going to come up and do that for us. This is our Christ candle here. So we light this Christ candle as a reminder of the Christ light that is always lit within each one of us. So let's take that in to our opening prayer today. And we'll also, one last time, be reminded of our December affirmation. As I pray first, I am renewed, restored, and reborn through the spiritual power of life within me. We pray affirming the spiritual power of life within us, the Christ light within us. It is always there. It is always burning brightly. Do we have eyes to see? This morning we use our spiritual eyes to become aware of the Christ light within us, to become aware of the spiritual power of life, renewing, restoring, reminding us of who we truly are. We were born a blessing to this world. In this moment of silence, let's each of us see ourselves as a blessing. The blessing that we truly are to ourselves, to everyone, to this world. And we use our power of imagination in the silence to recognize the truth of ourselves. Just a moment in the silence. I am renewed, restored, reborn through the spiritual power of life within me. I am one with the source of all within me. I am the Christ in potential. I am a very, very bright, real light in the world. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So as our choir comes up, I want to introduce our music director, Carolyn Fisher. Welcome. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good
Yay.
morning. And I love that Wendy is just bringing the music with her as
Our
she
elf.
moves today. I'm going to embarrass her. Good morning. So let us stand as we are able, and we will join in singing Deck the Halls to open things up this morning. Okay, here we go. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yuletide forest. Fa la 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 la. Strike a harp and join the chorus. Fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure. Fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure. Fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes. Fa la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses. Fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. Fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather. Fa la 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 la.
Good morning, UGH. And a special shout out this week to all the busy elves that are working very hard to make this the best Christmas season ever. I do want to also acknowledge the words were a little different on the sheets than what they were singing up here. So it wasn't that you were or we were. So we did the best. I was always taught to sing watermelon, watermelon, watermelon when you couldn't figure out what the words were. It makes you look like you're actively involved. So you might want to remember that little tidbit. Anyway, good morning. My name is Kirk Smallage. I have the privilege this morning to serve as your worship assistant. And I have some announcements to share with you of all the fun things that are going on here at Unity of Greater Hartford. And we'll begin with that with the fact that board member nominations are active right now. The deadline is coming up quickly. So if you'd like to be nominated or wish to nominate yourself, please do so now. All you need to do, it's pretty simple, is to complete a nomination application, which is located out in our atrium in the middle of the building, and then return it to Reverend Christine. And the best way to return it to Reverend Christine is not to give it to her. Just take it to her office door and slip it in the little slot that's there for her mail, and then it'll be sure to be found that way. If you'd also like to receive that nomination form by email, then you can please ask our office manager, Tony, to email that to you. Tony, are you here in the... Oh, she's back in the sound booth, a Jill of many trades. So basically, you can do that, or if you have questions, you can ask either Tony or any of our board members. And would our board members just for a moment stand, because there are some new faces here today. So thank you very much. These are the lovely people that make up our board. And you can talk to them about the board member and how all the things that go on with that and how wonderful it is to serve with them. And they can help you with that nomination process as well. Now, this year, we will be holding our Christmas Eve and New Year Eve service, both in person and online. The Christmas Eve service of lights will begin at 6:30 p.m. on, of course, Saturday, December 24th, and that will be here in the sanctuary. It also is available online through our Facebook page and also through our website. Our service this year will be a bit different because we won't be focusing on our 12 powers, but rather on the 4 gifts of Advent and how we are the light in the world. And our New Year's Eve service will be the Burning Bowl service, where we all have the opportunity to release what no longer serves us. And we do what we also want to not bring into the new year those things. So that's what that Burning Bowl service will help with. And this service will begin at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, December 31st. It also will be here in the sanctuary and once again available online through our Facebook page and the website. Now, after the service, if you are here, hopefully with us in person, you're invited to stay for some hot beverages and cookies and to participate in our Claim Your Good 2023 Affirmation Balloons Dartboard. There might be a need for a special committee after that to patch up the wall. And I do think there were a couple of volunteers that had some remaining scars from the summer picnic. Sorry if those haven't healed yet. But otherwise, it's a really fun time. So please consider joining us. Now, I really need you to make note of this, because we have quite a few folks here today. Please note that on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, the services will only be held online. Please don't come and knock on the door or open the door on those mornings, because there won't be anybody here. The church will be available online, and we're going to be doing that recorded. So, in fact, after today's service is completed, and we have a moment to grab a bite and have a little community time, myself and Carolyn and the live stream team and, of course, Reverend Christine. We'll all be back in here to do a couple of recorded sessions in the sanctuary. So they probably will be a little bit shorter than the regular Sunday services, so please join us online. And actually, if you're interested, you are welcome to come and join us today while we're recording them. So if you'd like to stay for 2 more of these wonderful services, then please feel free to do so. So finally, the deadline has come to renew your membership here at Unity. It's December 31st. And there are still a number of you that have not done that yet. So if you're not sure if you renewed, you can ask, once again, our Jill of all trades, Tony, the office manager, or you could ask any of the board members, and they can check for you to find out if you've already renewed, if you can't quite remember. But there are blank membership renewal forms, once again, on the table in the atrium. Just fill those out, put them in Reverend Christine's mail slot again, but please do that now. We really would like to know. And if you're online, just send Tony an email saying you want to renew, and that email address is officemgr@unityhartford.org. Thank you very much for taking the time to do that for us, because it really is important. Okay, that concludes our announcements, and now it's greeting time. And each week, we ask that you remain in your pews for now as we offer each other the Gandhi blessing for peace, which is a call and response blessing. So if you're able, I'm going to ask, would you please stand? And as you respond, take a moment to look around the sanctuary for those of you that are here, and use it as a time to bless each other. And for those of us that are at home or online, please join us with this blessing as well, for those in your home, neighborhood, and of course for our entire spiritual community. So we'll begin. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your needs. Our wisdom flows from the highest source. And I salute that source in you. And let us work together for unity and peace. Great, thank you. And now you may all have a seat. And I would ask now, if you have your bulletins, if you could please join me in affirming our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God, the good omnipotence. Amen. And now I have the privilege to read to you today's daily word. And it is entitled Joy. And the affirmation is, joyfully I celebrate my oneness with God. As the 3 wise men followed the star to Bethlehem to greet the newborn child, I follow my inner light and discover the Christ within me. As I approach the conclusion of Advent season, I realize that this, rather than material goods or creature comforts, is truly the source of my joy. The Christ within is the part of me that is always one with God. Omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. When I face challenging times, I can draw from that inner wellspring of joy, my foundation of irrepressible strength and fortitude. I have within me the power to overcome any challenge. This day, this moment, I am joy-filled, and I celebrate the overflowing blessings of my divinity. And the biblical reference, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. From Matthew chapter 2, verse 10. And once again, today's daily word was entitled Joy. And the affirmation is, joyfully I celebrate my oneness with God. And so it is. Amen. Reverend Christine?
Will the ushers please come forward? As we prepare for our time of giving, I want to remind you that your offerings can be given online through our website, unityhartford.org. There's a donate button right there. If you're in the sanctuary today, your giving can be given today by check or by cash. And if you are online, again, make yourself a little note that when the service is over, that you'll go to the website and hit that donate button. Because this is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to experience and express gratitude, love, and prosperity. We know that when we freely and joyfully give, we are opening ourselves up to the abundance in the universe. So whatever amount you are guided to give, take it in your hands if you're here in the sanctuary, or if you're even at home, or hold it in your heart if you're doing it online. And bless it. Bless it with your love. I would also ask that you hold an intangible blessing in your heart, a blessing for all of us here at Unity. That blessing could be joy, it could be peace, it could be faith, love, abundance, whatever intangible blessing of your heart you would like to share today. Let yourself feel as grateful as you can to God in you as your one true source of all. And then please join me in our offering blessing together. Divine love, flowing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive, and so it is. Amen.
So this is a song called Miracle of the Moment. It's time for letting go all our if onlys, 'cause we don't have a time machine. And even if we did, would we really want to use it? Would we really want to go change everything? 'Cause we are who and what we are for now. And this is the only moment we can do anything about. So breathe it in, breathe it out. Listen to your heartbeat. There's a wonder in the here and now. It's right here in front of you, and I don't want you to miss the miracle of this moment. The only one who knows what's really out there waiting is the moments yet to be. And all we need to know is it's out there waiting. To us, the future's history. And it has given us a treasure called right now. This is the only moment we can do anything about. So breathe it in, breathe it out. Listen to your heartbeat. There's a wonder in the here and now. It's right here in front of you, and I don't want you to miss the miracle of this moment. And if it brings you tears, then taste them as they fall. Let them soften your heart. And if it brings you laughter, then throw your head back and let it go, let it go. You gotta let it go and listen to your heartbeat. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Listen to your heartbeat. There's a wonder in the here and now. It's right there in front of you, and I don't want you to miss the miracle of this moment.
Thank you, Carolyn. That was beautiful. Well, today is our last day of Advent. It's also a special time of celebration for our Jewish friends, as it is the first of 8 days of Hanukkah, which is called the Festival of Lights. Now, this celebration reaffirms the ideals of Judaism and commemorates in particular the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem by the lighting of candles, the menorah. In Hebrew, the word menorah means lamp. It was an everlasting light, an oil lamp that was never supposed to go out. The ancient menorah had 7 branches, one for each day of creation, and it burned in the temple in what was then Judea. It was a small area that unfortunately was caught up in the middle of conflict between the Egyptian Empire and the Greek Assyrian Empire. These two empires had a war, and under the ruler Antiochus IV, Judaism was outlawed. The Jewish people were told they could not keep the Sabbath, they could not keep kosher, and the temple was desecrated. But a small group of people rebelled, and they became known as the Maccabees. Over several years, they were able to take back the temple and relight the menorah. As the story goes, 1 day's worth of oil miraculously lasted for 8 days. This is a beautiful demonstration of faith that teaches us not to curse the darkness, but to light a candle. And yet, we cannot light the way for anyone else unless we first go within and turn our own light switch on. So there are many similarities at the core of Hanukkah and our Unity Advent season. Recently, I saw this quote from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs. "For though my faith is not yours, and your faith is not mine, if we are each free to light our own flame, together we can banish some of the darkness in the world." Yeah, together. And that is our goal, isn't it? We desire to first be aware of our own inner light, and then how we can raise us up, and not just to raise us up individually, but then when we invite that inner light to move in, through, and as us, we can then individually and collectively create more light in the world. And how do we do this? Well, first, simply by becoming aware, going within and seeing with our spiritual eyes. And secondly, by saying yes. I know you're going to say, oh, it's not that simple. Well, hold on there. By the end of today, you may think that it is perhaps just that simple. So far, we've talked about the inner lights of faith and peace and love, and now today we're going to focus on the inner light of joy. Okay. And joy is most often seen as interchangeably with happiness. And yes, to those observing, it may look the same. on the outer. Excuse me. But joy and happiness are different directionally. Happiness has its origins out here. I am happy because of, or I'm happy for. And it could be for many different things. It could be, I'm happy for my family, I'm happy for my best friend, I'm happy for my job, I'm happy for my spouse, I'm happy for my Christmas tree, my pet. All these things, even the people, are temporary. One day, your Christmas tree will cause you to be happy. And then several days later, all those needles will be underneath the tree. Or your cat may decide that it owns, there we go, a hand up, that it owns the tree and has tipped it over. Well, then you're not so happy, are we? No. Joy, on the other hand, comes from within. It's from within. Later today, we will be singing the song, Joy to the World. And I realize it's not joy from the world, or joy for the world, or joy because of the world, but rather joy to the world. It is your God joy that you have chosen to first give to yourself and then give to the world. It is your joy light that you have switched on. You have turned that switch on, and then you choose to have it shine in, through, and as you to the world. In the book Dynamics for Living, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote, "No one yet knows all of life's joys, nor will they, until they have come into the full understanding of spiritual communion or oneness with the divine. No one knows the fullness of life nor its joys until they have prayed in meekness and gratitude and have received the sweet, pure realization of Spirit, of God. True and lasting joy arises from within. The nature of the deep inner life is revealed only to those who spiritually penetrate into its source, and source is God." Mr. Fillmore continues, "If you would feed your soul on the joys of spirit, you must then realize them and give thanks in prayer for the more abundant life. Then you will find a great subconscious well of living water that will begin to bubble up in your soul. You will come to know that up until now, you have been living in the shallows of life instead of in its mighty depths. You will be blessed with a knowledge of the unity of all things, and a great peace and harmony will well up within. It is impossible to find a lasting stronghold within on anything less than the understanding that God is a God of joy." There are some deep, mighty truth teachings here from Charles Fillmore. To experience and be the light of joy, you must first have a realization of your oneness with God, the source of all. And of course, drawing on the lights of faith, peace, and love can help you do that. You must also let go of any assumptions, any ideas that you know exactly how it should go. And you must be grateful in advance. Doing this is feeding your soul. Feeding your soul on the light of joy that comes from the divine. And then that joy that is God will bubble up within you. And you will find it impossible not to share your joy light to the world, your joy to the world. Theologian and author Ann Robertson explained that the Greek word for happiness is see if I get this right, makarios, which was used to describe the freedom of the rich from normal cares and worries in the world, or to describe a person who receives some wonderful windfall, like the lottery or something. Robertson then compares this to the Greek word for joy, which is hara, and the word means the culmination of being, or the good mood of the soul, perhaps the joyful mood of the soul. Hara is something that is only found in God and carries and comes with virtue and wisdom. It isn't a beginner's virtue. It is the culmination. And its opposite is not sadness, but fear. I find her distinction between happiness and joy very similar to Charles Fillmore, and yet I was not expecting the opposite of joy to be fear. But it certainly makes sense. How can our soul be in a good mood if we are living in fear? How can we know joy when we are in fear? Author and researcher Brené Brown, who wrote the Atlas of the Heart, also makes the distinction between happiness and joy. Happiness is the result of the outer, while joy comes from within. She writes that she defines a state of happiness as feeling pleasure, often related to the immediate environment or current circumstances. And then she defines joy as an intense feeling of deep spiritual connection and appreciation. She writes that there is an intriguing upward spiral relationship between joy and gratitude. And here's how she demonstrates that. Joy predicts greater future experiences of gratitude. And gratitude predicts greater future experiences of joy. And on and on and on it goes. If when you become aware of this inner bubbling of joy, you also draw on the power of gratitude, then more joy automatically follows, and then more gratitude, and on and on. And how do we draw on the inner power of gratitude? By simply saying thank you, sweet spirit. And when I say that, thank you, sweet spirit, I find it hard not to smile or feel good. It feels very organic to me. Thank you, sweet spirit. Anyone else feel that? Yeah. Another word that assists me in feeling an inner gratitude is simply saying yes. Yes. Earlier I said that we desire to first be aware of our own inner light and how it can raise us up individually, but then when we invite that inner light to move in through and as us, we can then individually and collectively create more light in the world. And of course, the question comes up, how do I do this? First, by becoming aware, and secondly, by simply saying yes. Saying yes is an expression of your gratitude. Yes, I am the light in the world. Yes, I am the joy to the world. Why don't we say that together? All right? I'm going to say it again and then invite you to say it out loud. And you know that I like you to say it really loud, okay? So let's see if we can do that. So I'll say it again. Yes, I am the light in the world. Yes, I am the joy to the world. All right? Together and loudly, together. Yes, I am the light in the world. Yes, I am the joy to the world. Oh, you did good. All right. Well, in a bit, we're going to be singing that song, Joy to the World. So I want to take just a few moments to interpret that metaphysically, because that's how we interpret the Bible, right? So here we have the words. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing. Well, what does that mean metaphysically, symbolically? Joy to the world, well, we just talked about that. Bringing your light of joy to the world. And here the word world, metaphysically, is a state of consciousness formed where your truth is based on people's opinions rather than your inner truth. So the world is a state of consciousness, and it is overcome by the light, your light, God's light. Let earth receive her King. Let the physical world be governed by the spiritual. Let every heart prepare him room. We become aware of our light when we open our heart to the source of all. And heaven and nature sing is when the spiritual and the physical will be as one, and joy will be the song. Today, as you sing this song, hold in your heart the deeper meaning. Prepare room in your heart. Be willing to be guided, governed, and directed by the divine. And shine your joy light within you and then to the world. And then feel that yes in your soul. Be aware of your oneness and allow joy to bubble up in your soul today and all days. Namaste. And now I invite you to join with us and sing the Unity Peace song. That'll be followed by our prayer for protection. And then we have one other song, which you all now know what that is.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
No surprises here
No
today.
surprise.
All right, let us all sing together our Unity Peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Carolyn, that was lovely. And thank you all. You may be seated. And now, if you would refer to your bulletin, I'd ask you to join me in our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now, although I will extinguish this physical candle, we know and affirm that the Christ light within us can never be dimmed, for we are always one with the divine. Okay, I guess the Christ candle doesn't want to. Okay, so much for technology. Reverend Christine?
But thank you for trying, Kirk. And thank you to everyone who helped today. And of course, special thanks to our prayer chaplains for holding us all in sacred prayer. And we have two prayer chaplains who are here to pray with you after the service. And if they would stand up, Kat and Lynn, thank you. These two ladies will remain here in the sanctuary, and if you would like one-on-one prayer with them, just approach them and say, would you pray with me? They'll take it from there. You don't need to anything more than that. And of course, in front of you in the pew, not in the pew, in the slot in front of you where you're sitting in the pew, is a prayer card. So please feel free if you'd like to request prayer through that. You just fill out that prayer card, and there's a prayer box in the back of the sanctuary. It's on your right as you leave the door. And if you're online, all you need to do is send us an email. Send an email to prayerrequest@unityhartford.org. Your prayer requests will be held in complete confidence as it goes to the prayer chaplains who would be very honored to pray with you. And there are many others who'd help with today's service. Thank you to all, especially our worship assistant, Kirk. Thank you, Kirk. And our live stream team, Angela, Marty and Tony. That's who's here. Yes, Angela, Marty, and Tony. Our greeters, Joe and Maria, thank you very much. And our ushers, Julie and Deborah, thank you so much. And I don't know, if you know everybody on the choir, okay, but I'm going to say their names, Wendy and, yes, you're coming up here anyway, Wendy and Rob and Liston. I don't know what happened to Deborah, but okay. But thank you to our wonderful choir, and of course to our wonderful music director, Carolyn. But we're going to hold on for 1 minute before we start our song. I want to welcome some new people here today. Thank you for joining us today. And Maria will bring you a welcome information package. Is there anyone else who is here for the first time? Didn't think so. Okay. But thank you for bringing you and your children, wonderful kids, they were really good, to the service today, for blessing us with your presence. And of course, if you're online and you would like to get that information package, all you need to do is send an email to Tony, who does everything here, office MGR at unityhartford.org. Just send her an email and say that you'd like to get that information package. And please include your mailing address so we can get that to you. Thank you for being with us today and for bringing your blessing to all of us today. And so we're going to ask you, though, when we leave, when the service is over, to please leave rather quickly and quietly and meet us in the community room across the hallway so that this room is quiet for people who are doing one-on-one prayer, and as we get ready to record the next 2 services that we'll be offering online. And now, thanks to our music director, Carolyn, and the entire choir. I'm turning it over to you.
Yes, thank you. All right, special day. We all get to officially participate in this final song. So, as you probably gathered, we are going to be singing Joy to the World.
Kind of spilled the beans on that.
Yes. And I love that we got to look at that. Thank you for the metaphysical things behind it. All right, so let's stand as we're able, and let's do this, folks. Joy to the world. Here we go.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations move. The glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
Thank you. Thanks for joining in that last song. So thanks to everyone for joining us today, both here in person and online on Facebook, on our website. We hope you'll join us this Wednesday for our meditation service from 7 to 7:30 on Facebook. And please join us this coming Saturday, Christmas Eve, at 6:30 p.m. right here in the sanctuary or online. Have a joy-filled week.